What is the average intelligence of Canadians? It's a bit disappointing. A conversation I overheard in my local watering hole last night got me into researching this subject, but I'll come to that conversation in this summation. Using something called the Weckler Adult Intelligence Scale. The average intelligence of Canadians and globally is 100. And Canada, on a global scale, no one agrees, there's no concurrent, but we're not an embarrassment, but we're not quite in the top either. But let's just stick to Canada. Only 4% of Canadians score 100. 4% score an average intelligence. 50% of the population is below that. Now, the bell curve on this intelligence scale is really quite steep. From 100 to 90 is a range of 10. Then they break it down into 5, between 85 and 90, between 80 and 85. Let's look at the below average numbers first. 25% of the population scores below average, 90 to 100. Again, this is a pretty steep curve. At 90, you struggle with complex tasks, but can handle daily tasks and learn new skills. With effort, they can adapt. 16% of the population scores between 85 and 90. They struggle with learning, problem solving, and adapting to change or new situations. 9% of the population is between 80 and 85. And at that point, they're really not functioning very well. So, again, 50% of the population is below average. Kind of scary, isn't it? With 4% being average. From 100 to 115 is considered smart. 16% of the population are considered smart. And as we see there, it goes from 100 to 115. The scale now runs in 15 increments of. And above 115 to 130 is considered bright. And then we have 130 to 145, very intelligent, highly intelligent, and profoundly intelligent, getting up to the 160s. And again, 16% of the population are considered smart, 2% are bright. And above that, it gets down into very small percentages. We needn't run through them all. So we have 22% of the population who are of average or above intelligence, not including the really smart guys. And 50% of the population that is below average. I remember my mom saying to me when I was a kid, she said, you're learning that the average man so far below average is just disappointing. Which brings me to the conversation in the bar last night that got me thinking about this. There's 3 guys sitting there at the table next to me. And one of them says, well, Mark Carney got, won 86% of the vote. The other guy goes, well, that's impressive. Well, yeah, nobody pointed out what was that vote, who was voting. You know what I mean? For some reason or another, 2/3 of the eligible voters in the Liberal leadership race were considered uneligible to vote. What happened there? I don't think it was explained. If it was, I missed it. To round the numbers up a little, out of 450,000 who could vote for the leadership candidacy, 2/3 of them were ineligible. For what reason? I don't remember them saying it was a computer glitch or they didn't dot an I, cross a T properly. I don't think they said anything. So they just 1/3 of the 150,000, again, I'm rounding up, were eligible to vote. This went over these guys' heads totally. And we see the mainstream media, that's all they're on about. Carney won 86% of the popular vote. There we see the BIT nudge unit, the behavioral insight team at work again, don't we? And I see it in social media in the comments of the people who are fans, of course, of Carney, because the TV told them to be fans, parroting that figure. He won 86% of the popular vote. And as I've in previous videos discussing the behavioral insight team's nudge unit, their nudging works better on the lower percent of the population, lower on the intelligence scale, which alas, apparently seems to be 50% of the Canadian population. Kevin's concerned too.